Embrace the fullness of each day. So in this world of doing, constantly doing, I should say, it is tempting to keep our days totally full of stuff. We go from one thing to the next to the next. And what we're doing there is we're leaning out. So we're disengaging with that opportunity to lean in and really, really connect with ourselves. So leaning out is where we disengage, we step back from the front lines. And I often say it's where we bury our heads in the sand because something's happening and we don't want to address it. So we step away and we create all of these other things that we need to do, as opposed to leaning in, where we actively engage in life and whatever that situation is or whatever that challenge is. And that's where we gain great growth. We have the ability to learn, and we ultimately feel a lot fuller in life. So it's our opportunity to engage more, lean in more to life. So as a fitness trainer and a coach, Sue, we've seen so many women over the age of 50 discover, that extraordinary power that comes when you actually lean in, when you become aware, when you connect with yourself. And when you get into that mindset change, what it does is it totally transforms, your relationships that you have with yourself, with others, and your relationship that you have with aging, because that is one thing that we're all going through, right?
Mm, yes, we are. And I think it's a matter of for me, when you say leaning into life,
Yeah,
it's about sort of focusing on what you're doing right now. And it's
yeah,
great that, I'm a big believer, like you are. I want to get the most out of life. I
yeah.
want to do travel. I want to keep healthy. I want to enjoy what there is to offer because, we don't get a second chance. So
Right.
there's many opportunities out there. But I think the other trap that we can fall into with aging
Mm,
is that we go, oh, I'm getting a bit old for this, or
mm,
I just want a quiet life. I don't want to, so to me, that's leaning out. I don't want to get involved. I just want to have, a term that's going around is living lightly. And that's fine. But I think we need that balance because living, you want to be energetic, and you can't if you're just sitting at home doing nothing all the time. If you're not moving your body, if you're not engaging with other people, you're just sitting there waiting to die, actually. And I think that's a shame because whilst I'm a firm believer in everybody living their life the way they want to,
yes.
and what suits them, we can fall into traps from either side. We can fall in the trap of getting too carried away and trying to do everything,
Yeah.
and then, not giving our time to, just relax and have time out. Or we could go the other way where we're just not doing anything and every day is just dragging along because we're not leaning into life, grabbing life with both hands. So it's that little balance of the which way
Mm.
we're leaning, I think.
My nephew is having his birthday on Saturday, and he put up the event on Facebook because that's how we communicate these days. And and I went, yes, I'm coming. Yes, Paul's coming. Yes, Nana's coming. And I said to Mum, oh, Chris is having his little party, little family get together on Saturday for his birthday, and she goes, I don't really want to do that. I'm too old to go out of a night time.
Mm.
You know, and look, whilst aging is a natural part of life, we can, lean into acceptance of aging and understand that there are changes that are coming with how we feel in our bodies, and how we might not feel safe going out, as an example of a night time. But we can also lean into the fact that we are aging, and that we've gathered a lot of experience in life, and that we have wisdom to share, and we can just enjoy that process of getting older and having that opportunity to share that wisdom, that knowledge that we have with the younger people. And, I think it's fabulous that, he's a young fellow who's, in his 20s, and he wants to engage with his family. And that he wants to, and he does. He comes over and he sits and he talks to you and has conversations about different things. And you can see him listening and learning from those experiences. And I think that not only helps the younger people understand you and connect with you more, but it gives you also a greater appreciation of, the journey that you go through in life.
Yeah, because you're sharing your wisdom, you're sharing experiences, and some things you forget about. And once you start talking, you think, "Oh, I forgot about that." Or, if you have to, if you just forget about things that you've done or achieved, and it's not until you start talking about that you remember, and you can relive those experiences, and then also share your learnings from things that maybe didn't go right in life. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I alluded to this earlier. So, we often lean out of challenges. And what we should do is try and, lean into those challenges, because life is full of challenges, and how we approach that challenge, defines who we are as people, and it gives our life more diversity. It gives us courage to step forward. It gives us that level of resilience. And, as I said earlier, when we embrace those challenges, when we lean into them and go, well, I'm in this situation now, I can't change it. But I can't avoid it either. So how am I going to navigate it? How am I going to get through it? Because I think we're going to emerge a lot stronger when we lean into it, as opposed to leaning out.
And also, as you say, there are some things, we have to do, and we might procrastinate about it. We keep putting it, it might come to the top of the list and we put it down because you go, I can't deal with that now. Whereas if we just took a moment and focused on what it was and just do it, get it out of the way, that's going to take a load off your mind as well. Because if you're procrastinating and you're sort of hesitating and leaning back, and I don't want to engage with that, but I know I've got to, your mind is in turmoil. You might as well just get it in and get it done. And as you say, sometimes you need courage to do that. We all do things that we fear, and usually it's fear that holds us back and it stops us from doing something, or it's not something pleasant. I'm not, so you keep pushing it aside. But if you confront it, you just lean in, you get it done, then, as you say, you've proven to yourself you can overcome your fears, your resilience improves, and your mental health improves, because you think, oh, I've got that off my plate now. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and like, I was thinking about it from an opportunity perspective. When someone says to you, hey, do you want to go on this adventure with me? Want to go on a hike? Do you want to go skiing? Do you want to do, a particular activity? You have that opportunity to say, yeah, and lean into it, or simply go, oh, hang on a minute, I don't know that I'm fit enough. I don't think I can do that. But, depending on where it is, you can embrace it. It
Mm,
could be 6 months down the track. So you've got plenty of time to get
mm.
yourself fit enough to be able to do it. And when you lean into those opportunities, more opportunities happen. So, as an example, you and I have both been through this experience where, someone reaches out to us and says, would you like to do this summit? Would you like to be involved in this? And we could certainly go, oh, I don't think I'm the right person for that. I don't think I know enough about that topic. All of those things that go through our minds where we stop ourselves from leaning into that opportunity, whereas it's like, well, hang on a minute, they reached out to us in the first place,
Mm.
so they consider that we do have knowledge in this space, so therefore why would I not lean in
Right.
and embrace the opportunity that's available to me?
That's right.
And
And I'll go on.
no, go on.
No, I was just going to say that, recently I hadn't been well, and this opportunity came up, and I didn't know if I won't go into detail, but I didn't know if I'd be able to do it. And I was going to maybe, modify things or whatever. In the end, I just said, look, what's the worst that can happen? I'm going to go for it, and if I don't achieve it, it won't matter. Now,
Yeah.
I actually did do what I'd set out to do, which was a wonderful surprise, and it
Mm,
just proved to me that it's your mindset. Your mindset, you're stronger than what you think you are, and once you do push yourself through that fear, you push you through. Okay, if you don't achieve it, that's
mm,
fine.
yeah.
You'll learn from that and maybe do it again. But if you try and you do achieve it, that elation of I've done it is just worth bottling. It just really makes you feel good. But it's just, you know, you don't want to go through life where you think, oh, I wish I'd done that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead, I said no because I was too scared or whatever it was. I didn't think I was good enough or whatever. And you know what? I probably could have done it, and I wish I'd done it now because that opportunity might not come again. So, you know,
And what I was going to say, Sue, was that, and those opportunities don't have to be massive things either.
no, no.
I'm thinking about an opportunity to lift a heavier weight. And so, in a PT session this week with the lovely Gail, she was lifting, 12 kilos. She was lifting it quite well from lower body up to waist. And then I said, we're going to work, through chest and back now. And she said, oh, I think I'm going to go down lower weights. And I said, no, I think we're going to stay with those weights and see.
Mm,
So, there was that opportunity there where she was doubting her ability. She did it, and she did it really well
mm,
with
mm.
those heavier weights. So, opportunities don't have to be massive. They can just be those little glimpses, moments, opportunities that we encounter throughout the day.
That's right. And even if she'd only managed 2 reps, that's
Yeah.
two more than what she thought she could do. And that will build that, and it builds your self confidence because you think, oh, okay, well, in her case, she did it all. So, she can
Yeah.
say, oh, I can do that. But even if, for example, you'd said, I want you to do 6 repetitions of this exercise, and she said, oh, I've done 2, I can't do any more. No shame in that. But
No, absolutely.
she's got 2 more than what she thought she could do. So she can build on that in the future. And that's really a good boost for your self-confidence.
Yeah. And so I think when we're talking about leaning into life, I really think that is about um, leaning in with intention. So
Mm,
being deliberate about what it is that you want to do. There could be something in your head that is you've gone, I've wanted to do this since I was a teenager. And so what you want to do is go, okay, I'm going to embrace this bold goal, let's call it, and I'm going to go for this passion or this dream that I have. And as you said, you may not achieve it, but you've had that opportunity to grow and learn, and you may have got, almost there. And almost is better than having that regret at the end of the day and saying, I wish I would have.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think each day, it's rather than settling for the familiarity that we have in our routine, that what we do is we look for something that's a little bit different to embrace, so that we're stepping outside our comfort zone. So, I'm not going to go and herd cattle of a morning, as an example, but this morning, Paul said, oh, someone's just rung us. We've got a cow out down in the other paddock. Do you want to come and help me? And it was like, oh, I don't really want to embrace that. But I went, you know what? I have the opportunity to be physically active. I have the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with him, so we jumped on the four-wheeler and I embraced that change in my routine. I got out of my comfort zone and I did something that I probably didn't want to do. And I felt great after I finished it.
Yeah. And you usually do, even if you, as we said, might only just not quite get there, you're still going to feel good because you've tried. And I think that, the leaning into it and being mindful of what you're doing is important too, because we can get too busy and not give our attention to whatever we're doing at that moment because we're too busy thinking of other things. And I think that, that's another way, because leaning into life could be getting in there, getting, in amongst the thick of it all. But it could also mean, as you say, just focusing on the now, what I'm doing now, lean into it, do the best you can, make the most of that moment. And that, I think, is another way of leaning in.
Yeah. Also, it's looking for those opportunities to have growth and to learn. So as a coach who is, pelvic floor certified with exercises, there was something that came across my feed the other day, or in my inbox, I should say, and it was this different look, delving into pelvic floor just a different way, and digging in deeper as such. And I went, you know what, I'm going to do that course because it's something that's so important. As menopausal, postmenopausal women, we're losing up to 50% muscle and connectivity in those muscles themselves, that we're all probably noticing that we're heading to the bathroom a little bit more than we used to. And so if there's something else that I can glean from looking at this from a different perspective, then I've not only learnt for myself, I also have that opportunity to share that with other women as well.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
The other thing that popped into my head when I started thinking about this leaning in caper, Sue, was that we can often not get involved with, friends as such. We may not have those social connections, or we might wholly and solely rely on interactions via text message as an example, as opposed to, picking up the phone and talking to someone. And that in itself is leaning into such an essential aspect of the human race, is
mm,
that, you know, we were in tribes, and, you know, now we're all busy doing everything and just relying on ourselves. Whereas if we can lean into getting help and support from other people and building those interactions. Now, they can be online, but they can also be, you know, in person as well too, or
mm, mm.
over the phone as such. So yeah.
Yeah. And sort of giving back as well. So sometimes someone else might need the support. And I think it's being mindful of that as well, leaning,
Yeah.
not, you know, some people are going through difficulties. My friend at the moment's just recently lost her mum. Her sister now has discovered she's probably only got a few months to live.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people step back because they don't know what to say. They don't know
Yes.
how to handle that
Yeah.
situation. When
Mm.
all that person really needs to know is, hey, I'm here. It's a terrible time for you, but you can be you. And so I think people don't know how to handle situations rather than just leaning in and saying, I'm here to support you in whatever way you need.
Yeah.
And I think that's important too, because a lot of times with certain things in life that we don't find very pleasant, we want to lean away from it. No, no, sorry, not for me, rather than putting yourself in how that other person's feeling. What would I want if I was in that situation? So I think that's another way too.
Yeah, absolutely, Sue. You know, it just a message that says, "Hey, I'm here for you."
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have to be anything big,
Yeah,
or, just so that they know they're not on their own or that you can help in some way. But certainly don't not say anything
yeah,
because, then they think people don't care. They don't care, or just ask, hey, how you going? Are you okay? That's all you
yeah,
have to do. And I think that a lot of people worry that they're not going to say the right thing or do the right thing. Just ask them how they're going,
yeah,
or
absolutely.
yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it is about embracing change, isn't it?
Mm,
It's that constant flow of life,
yeah.
and when we can, rather than resist it, learn to adapt and grow through all of the transitions that we go through. And let's face it, Sue, us girls go through a lot of transitions, you know,
Mm,
when we
mm,
become teenagers, you know, and then we go through menopause and, you know, we think, oh, well, you know, I'll get through it soon. Hey, just lean in, step into it. You
yeah.
know, it is the reality. I am changing, you know, and feel the emotions. You know, it was like, because I went through menopause, you know, younger, it was like, oh, okay, there's no babies on the horizon. And then I go, "Oh, who wants to have babies at this age? No, I don't. You know, I've had them all younger. I don't want to have them now."
Mm,
So,
mm,
you know,
mm,
but it's just that feeling that, oh, something's changing. It's being taken away from me now. And I'm not going to have that opportunity. But whereas if
mm,
I just stepped into it and went, oh, okay, I'm suffering from, you know, insomnia. What can I do to help myself? I'm leaning into it rather than just waiting for myself to get through that transition of life.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah, and look, we're probably going to finish up soon, but I just want to
Yeah.
pick up on that, what you said, leaning into your emotions. That's the other thing we don't do.
Oh,
We want to suppress things. We don't want to show people if we're upset. We don't want to show people if we're angry. Like we have to lean in,
yes.
feel the emotion, and rather than putting a lid on everything and then one day exploding because we haven't been dealing with things as
Yes.
they go along. So leaning in, if you're going through a bad time, there is nothing wrong with having a good cry. There's nothing wrong in not feeling good. It's okay not to feel okay.
Yes.
But you do have to remember that if that starts to become the norm, then you need to find some professional help. But it's experiencing all your emotions. Don't hold it in. Lean into it.
And I'm glad because it's about our whole self, isn't it, Sue? It's not just about, um, the physical aspect of it,
Mm,
and so often what we do is that don't, we're aware that we've got aches and pains, but we don't lean into it. We don't go,
mm,
oh, hang on a minute. We wait until it gets worse.
mm,
Then all of a sudden
mm.
we're so far down the track that it's a lot harder to get back from it. So,
Yes.
there's that physical aspect, there's the emotional aspect, the mental aspect, the spiritual aspect of all allowing the opportunity, I think, to embrace, the wisdom that we have, the strength that we have, and just know that it's all about developing, resilience and, the potential that we have in life.
Mm,
And
mm.
wouldn't it be wonderful to be, that 100-year-old woman who's sharing her knowledge with other women about how she got there.
Mm, mm, exactly.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, Sue?
No, no, I think we've covered it all. And yeah, I think that that last point was pretty powerful too.
Yeah, thank you. And so, ladies, we're going to finish up. We're talking about the power of leaning in to life and having that full life. So, that first time we notice something, that something comes into our path that we have that hesitation for, what we want to do is, rather than stepping away from it, lean in and give ourselves that time and that space to think about it, and whether there's something that we can achieve, whether we can learn from it, whether we can grow from it, and whether it will help us be a better person and live a fuller life. Thanks for joining me, Sue.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, ladies, thanks for joining us. We'll see you all soon.